The world of Fallout poses many questions. Who created the vaults? Why are people so horrifically mutated? What caused the new plague? And why does everything look like it came out of the 1950s? We're about to answer all these questions and more as we journey through a brief history of the world according to Fallout. 1947. Up until this point, the history of the world according to Fallout falls in line with the version you already know. The first real sign of a timeline shift, however, happens in 1947, and it isn't an obvious one. In our timeline, this is the year where the transistor was invented. In the world of Fallout, that never happened, which is why computers are still gigantic, data is collected on tapes, and everything on their screens is aggressively monochrome. Basically, the world of Fallout looks like it's trapped in the 1950s, because technologically, it kind of is. 2037. General Atomics International releases the Mr. Handy line of workmen. This becomes one of the highest selling brands of robot butler in the US and Mexico, where they are widely embraced by the average family. Mr. Handy's popularity leads to the construction of various models, including the Godfrey, the Wadsworth, and the Codsworth. These models run on nuclear power and are self-repairing, making them perfect stewards for humanity in the event of an unforeseen nuclear incident. 2044. CocaCola, which started as a carbonated blend of 12 fruits, hits the stores. Later that year, the flavour changes noticeably with the coming of the Great Passion Fruit Famine, which necessitates the removal of, well, passion fruit. However, fans quickly adjust to the new taste and CocaCola becomes the most popular brand of soda in the country. Within 25 years, a CocaCola vending machine can be found on virtually every American street corner, and the associated bottle caps become commonplace trash. 2052. The world's oil reserves are dangerously low, which leads to a global panic and the resource wars begin. The European Commonwealth launches a full-scale invasion in the Middle East, Tel Aviv is destroyed by terrorist operatives, and localized small-scale nuclear strikes commence. The United Nations, unable to control the volatile political situation, collapses entirely. The US starts encroaching into an otherwise neutral Canada, and no one really knows what happened to Australia. Elsewhere, Chinese spies infiltrate a military lab located at the Hoover Dam and steal a sample of a volatile biological agent known as Limit 115. The vials are shattered in a public square in Denver, leading to the spread of a mutated virus called the New Plague. 200,000 people succumb to the disease in Colorado alone, and the US government calls for a national quarantine. 2054. As part of a program called Operation Safehouse, the government commissions a company called Vault-Tec to construct 122 public fallout shelters called vaults. These will protect the people of America in the event of a nuclear attack. Equipped to maintain the human population for up to 900 years, most are outfitted with expansive living quarters, gardens, and water treatment plants. As the threat of nuclear war diminishes, some vaults see critical life support systems sacrificed to create luxury rooms such as piano bars and underground hunting preserves, while others become staging grounds for elaborate social experiments which would determine the best course of action for superior specimens to repopulate the world. These specimens being the US government and their descendants, later known as the Enclave. 2063. As construction concludes on the first set of public vaults, regular evacuation drills become common throughout the United States. However, the 122 vaults under construction are not sufficient to house more than a small portion of the population, and optimal candidates for vault placement are chosen and quietly informed of their inclusion in the program. 2065. Robert House, founder of Robco Industries, creator of the Pip-Boy line of electronics in 2042, confirms through his most intense calculations that all hell will break loose in the next 50 years. His plan to save his beloved hometown of Las Vegas from impending doom is to outfit the city with the best defense technology money can buy and ensure he's around to make use of it. House's body is put into cryo and his brain integrated into a vast computer network housed at the Lucky 38 Hotel. From there, he's able to control all of the city's defense systems and a vast army of Securaton robots. The last thing he needs is a specifically designed Platinum chip that will update both his and the Securaton's OS automatically, allowing them to function for decades to come. Engineers need a bit more time than House accounted for, which doesn't turn out well. 2077. The Enclave shadow government orders Westech, a defense contractor, to fashion a biological agent to immunize American soldiers against any possible contagion and cure the new plague. Early tests of the Pan-Immunity Viron project result in animal specimens with drastically increased muscle mass and brain activity. From there, the aim of the project immediately shifts to the creation of super soldiers and is moved to a secret military installation in Mariposa, California. The resulting virus is renamed the Forced Evolution Virus, or FEV, and regular testing begins on military personnel. However, when the project's directive is leaked to the soldiers guarding the base, the garrison mutinies, executes the researchers, and declares that Mariposa has seceded from the Union. This would later lead to the birth of the technocratic Brotherhood of Steel. 2077. Full-Scale Nuclear War. Although it's uncertain where the war's first shot originated, although there are strong guesses to be made, the presence of an unmarked nuclear warhead en route to an undisclosed location leads to full-scale military strikes by the United States, China, and the USSR, all launching their nuclear payload simultaneously. The 2-hour volley is so energy-intensive that it reshapes the Earth's geography, altering the movement of its tectonic plates, evaporating or poisoning water sources, and drastically altering the planet's climate by launching debris into the atmosphere. In America, many civilians believe the air raid warnings to be signalling another drill and don't relocate in time. The vaults close with few of their selected candidates inside, and those left outside perish in the resulting chaos or are horrifically mutated by radiation. Ill-equipped to handle the reality of a nuclear apocalypse, most vaults collapse in the ensuing decades and human civilization disappears from existence. 2161, the story begins. In 2161, the Vault Dweller, whose travels are documented in their well-loved biography Fallout, leaves Vault 13 to find a replacement for the Vault's broken water chip. On their journey, they discover a hellish version of human civilization that still exists in the wreckage of its former glory. Years later, their grandchild, the Chosen One of Fallout 2 fame, travels to the wasteland in search of the Garden of Eden creation kit and gives the remaining members of the Enclave their just reward. 2277, present day. In 2277, the lone wanderer from Fallout 3 escapes Vault 101 in search of their father and gives humanity the one thing it needs most to rebuild. Just half a decade later, the Courier in Fallout New Vegas gets their hands on Robert House's Platinum chip and determines the fate of the last true human city in the southwest United States. And possibly the same year, the sole survivor emerges from Vault 111 and takes on the task of restoring what was once Boston, Massachusetts, which is what awaits us in Fallout 4. 200 years after it was nearly obliterated, against all logic and expectations, humanity stubbornly continues to live. And that's where you come in. The history of the world has been laid out in front of you, and now it's time to write the next chapter of this story. Welcome to Fallout 4.
Atomic cocktail.